Upcasters? Welcome back to MetaZoo News, episode number 6, somehow, of MetaZoo News, the podcast. This week, while we don't have a MetaZoo Monday per se to go over, as it was a community-led one by TMX, he did a great job, shout out to TMX, by the way. Since we didn't have a company version, MetaZoo version of MetaZoo Monday, there isn't a lot to go over, but I thought we'd make an episode anyway just to keep our weekly streak alive. So this one probably will be shorter. I know the last time I said this one's probably going to be shorter from what you expect, and then it turned out to be 30 plus minutes. So I'm aiming for not 30 plus minutes on this one. Don't want you to hear me ramble too long. But I thought we'd start things off with the obvious headliner, which is the Secret Shadows booster box design has finally been revealed. And not revealed by MetaZoo or GQL, but as we have come to expect with new MetaZoo, it has been leaked by a distributor listing. Now, this is neither here nor there really, but I would sort of expect MetaZoo, the company, to be the one to break the news, because they know when distributor listings are going out and things like that, because they've obviously given them the files and descriptions. So it would be cool to have MetaZoo actually spoil one of their booster boxes, but I digress. That's neither here nor there, like I said. But taking a look at the box itself, its design, just my opinion, you can agree or disagree as always, I think it looks sick. I think it's awesome. Mothman is front and center on the box, looking spooky, emerging from a forest, what it looks like a forest at least. And then on the box, wrapping around it, we see cryptids like the Boogeyman, Hopkinsville Goblin, Anubis, and the Rat King. At least from this angle, I'm not sure what the other side of the box looks like, but those are the ones that are featured on the box art. Yeah, and all of them seem to be emerging from a forest. Now, these selections of cryptids to be on this box, interesting, to say the least. I know that I was hanging out in MetaZoo Crew's Whatnot stream there yesterday on Monday. I'm not sure when you hear this, but Monday night. Monday night MetaZoo with MetaZoo Crew on Whatnot. We were talking about the Boogeyman redesign, which you can see on the far left-hand side of that booster box if you're looking at the picture. So the Boogeyman redesign, like a lot of other new zoo redesigns, I think there's good and bad. I do like the analysis that MetaZoo Crew gave, which was it does appear very similar to the Black Dog of Hanging Hills, at least in form. It looks fairly similar. Who knows what we will see in the actual set itself, but that is an interesting coincidence, an interesting happenstance. I'm not sure what the correct term might be, but, I think that the new Boogeyman is not scary, not very scary. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but it doesn't seem like the Boogeyman that I envision when I think of Boogeyman. I think of a creepy creature with black eyes that's a giant humanoid form that lurks in your closet and has the ability to jump out and grab you and pull you in. You know what I mean? And new Boogeyman, I'm not knocking the artist. I think the artist did a great job. It's just the depiction of Boogeyman doesn't seem super scary. That's just my opinion. But we'll see how it goes in the actual set. But less on what's on the box. I think one interesting thing is what's absent from the box. Some fan favorite dark icons are not on the box, which honestly surprised me. The selection overall surprised me, to be honest. I'm not sure if this is like a sense of what's to come in the set, with these being like the featured cryptids. I really hope they're not like the featured cryptids, because there's a lot of fan favorite dark cryptids that I feel like should have a huge spotlight in this set. Fan favorites like Bunnyman, Wendigo, Old Scratch. I mean, there's so many more than that, but those are the ones that I personally think of when I think of like a dark set. I'm surprised that those are not gracing the front of this booster box, to be completely honest. I think that would be great fan service, to be clear. I mean, and hey, we haven't seen, as of this recording, we have not seen the alt art booster box. So I don't want to be quick to judge. I think the box overall looks awesome. The moment I saw it, I got incredibly hyped. I was like, "Oh shit, this is this is gonna be good." But it was sort of surprising not to see those familiar faces. I know that they are trying to walk a fine line between spooky, scary gore and, a less overtly horror-driven atmosphere for their cards. I get that they're walking that fine line. I do think, just for this set, that boundaries can be pushed, and I know we talked about it last time. And my analysis last time was, I think that boundaries do create more creative potential when you have a set parameters that you can work in, because you're pushing the boundaries of the medium, working within that, again, those parameters to create something new and something spooky scary. And I think that from what we have seen so far, they've done a good job. But I mean, some things aren't kid friendly, they're not. So, I mean, I don't know how a bunny man with an axe, maybe even dripping blood fits in their image, but I think that should be in the set. I think that we should see even some, I guess, I don't even know if they're controversial. I mean, is Old Scratch controversial? I don't know. It's a devil, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the lines are being drawn yet. We're going to find out, though, folks. You and I will find out together when we start cracking open these boxes. And I just want to be, clear. I'm not criticizing for the sake of criticism. And these are just my personal thoughts on the set and the direction of it. You're welcome to agree or disagree. And it's perfectly valid either way. But again, that's just my opinion. Other news here attached to this is we got confirmation for a November release window for Secret Shadows, though no specific date has been given yet. Also, there's still no word on blister packs, big box retail presents, or any tie-in products. But given the timing that we now are starting to see more official things from MetaZoo about Secret Shadows, those announcements could be coming soon. So keep an eye out on MetaZooNews.com for the absolute latest, and of course our Instagram at MetaZoo.news. That would be us on IG, although you probably know that if you are listening to this podcast. Regardless, it is an exciting time to be a MetaZoo fan as we eagerly await the release of set number 3. Can you believe we're on set 3 already of new MetaZoo? It feels like just yesterday I was in Miami for the launch of the base set. But man, we're flying by. The months seem to be flying by for me, at least. So anyway, that is basically the news from the MetaZoo front. So not a huge amount there. What I would like to shift our focus on now is actually about MetaZooNews.com and the work we have been putting into that behind the scenes. So MetaZooNews.com has seen quite the facelift recently. Last month, we introduced a new view for how our articles are presented in a more news-style theme, with one big image with an L shape of different stories around it. In my opinion, looks much nicer than what we had previously. And from there, we have implemented some really big updates that I'm just really excited for because I've worked really hard on them. What I'm about to mention, everything here has been built from the ground up for MetaZooNews.com. And I have spent days, weeks of my time coding this stuff, testing it, deploying it. I mean, it's been a struggle making all of this stuff, just me. But I do want to point out some great features that we now have on the website. The very first one, the first and foremost, is our brand new card database. You may have heard me talk about this on Instagram, but our card database is awesome. It really is. I built it because the existing card databases just didn't have the same level of filtering ability that I personally want in a card database. No knock against anyone else. So I wanted to combine a checklist, a card database, everything all together, which is what we did. So we have both sets in here, but you can filter by things like the set, the aura type, the card type, its subtype, for example, starter, token, unique, those kind of subtypes. You can filter by stats, so you can list what minimum to maximum cost you want to filter by, or minimum to maximum influence that you want to filter by. So if you want to see if there are any 1 cost 4 influence cards, you absolutely can test your luck there and input any combination of those to filter out some results. Additionally, we can filter by cards that have been marked as aura enhanceable, which, if you recall, that icon can be found right underneath the influence totals on some cards. And that aura enhancement, as you may recall, allows you to place as an action an aura from your aura zone into a lane to give that lane the destruction keyword. And speaking of keywords, you can filter by every keyword that is in MetaZoo. So things like destruction, discover, duel, gigantic, overwhelm, soar, so on and so forth. All of those are available to be searched. We also have the ability to search and filter by trait. So those are things like cryptid, dragon, elemental, glacial, headless, hybrid, even things like location and weather for terras. All of those traits you can filter by as well. And you also can filter by artist. There's a huge amount of MetaZoo artists. If you haven't taken the time to look at the bottom of your cards, there's a lot of them. And you can filter by any of them, which is really nice, especially if you're going to a convention and you want to see what cards you can get signed. Filtering by artist is really cool. And if you just like an artist, and you want to see all their work. And finally, we have a search bar that you can search through by name or any text in the abilities. So all of that combined leads to the most specific, in-depth database, in my opinion, that's on the market today. Additionally, with this database, we have a picture view, which, just as the name suggests, you will see all of the cards in their full, beautiful capacity here on your page. You can also swap to table view, which, like our previous card database, it just has a table in sequential order of all of the cards in each set. And if you just hover over them, you will see the full picture of each card appear. So you don't even have to click on them like you did in our old database for all that to pop up. So that's really awesome. And when you do click on a card, I have a page for every single card. And base set and torrential tides, they all have their own page where all of the data that I input into the spreadsheet pops up, and you can get a really detailed view of the card, all of its stats, even the flavor text I have included. And I just want to say this, I have hand-typed 99% of this, so there may be a few spelling errors, but you don't understand the amount of time it takes to look at a card and then digitize everything about it. So its name, the cost, the influence, or enhanceable, type, subtype, everything. And the ability text I typed out, yeah, anyway, it was a lot of work is all I'm saying. And if there's some errors, just cut me some slack. But if there are errors and you see them, please reach out to me so that I can immediately fix it. I can quickly fix database errors. So no worries there. So if you see anything wrong, just let me know and I will make sure to fix it. And then the last very cool thing about our card database is the checklist view. So if you click on one of the sets and then click checklist, it will populate a big list of every single card and all of their variants for you to click collect on, and it will create a checklist for you. You can print it out. It will save everything that you have selected online. It also just saves in your browser. So as long as you don't empty your cache or anything like that, that all your progress will remain saved through both sets. So no worries about missing your progress there. And of course, again, as a backup, you can always print it out. But I thought that was really cool. It combines all three different views, and I think it has a huge potential to be really helpful for a lot of collectors and players who just want to have a clean view of each card. This is some MetaZoo News lore that you may not know. We actually, before Immortal Workshop published their deck builder, we actually had a fully complete deck builder that I stopped working on just because I saw Immortal Workshops and how much nicer it was. And we actually still have it. I think you can still access it. I think it's metazoonews.com/deck-builder. I do not know if I still have that activated. I'll have to take a look, but that was the URL. We've never made it public. We teased it before it came out, but again, as soon as I teased it, Immortal Workshop teased their much superior version. But anyway, that's just some MetaZoo News lore about a feature that was never publicly produced, but all the logic is there for a deck builder, like all the restrictions and everything else, along with the cards and everything, I mean, it's all there, but it's just not as nice as Immortal Workshops. And 100% I recommend going to Immortal Workshops deck builder. It is linked under our resource tab on the website for you to peruse at your leisure. So that is it for the card database. The other new thing that I'm very excited about is our updated resources and community tabs on metazoonews.com. So for our resources, the very first thing when you hover over it that pops up is our MetaZoo retailer page. And I think this specifically is going to be a great resource for the community. Just because one question I see in Discord a lot is, where can I buy this stuff? And there's not an easy answer. I mean, even on, and I haven't checked recently, but the last time I checked on MetaZoo's website, when you click on things like where can you buy this, it links to like a Google search of like MetaZoo products. So I think that this would be better than that at a minimum. I know there are different Discords out there for buying, selling, trading MetaZoo, but without joining them, you can now see a list of 12 retailers that have agreed to be featured here. We have Northern Pokey, Jackalope Club, MetaZoo Crew, Kaiju Studios, Hivemind Collectibles, Stomping Ground, TCG, IHC Collectibles, DPD19, and Windy City Pop Shop currently available. And when you go to this retailer page, I have linked their website, all of their socials. If they have public reviews, I have listed them there. For example, MetaZoo Crew has 5 stars with over 2,000 reviews, and I noted that at the bottom of the card that all of this information's on the website. But we have a good mix here. We have Whatnot hosts, we have online retailers, we have 2 in-person local game stores that also sell things online. So there's a wide variety, and of course we have pure eBay sellers too, if I didn't just mention that. But I think that's going to be a great resource. If you know of a store that sells MetaZoo, please pass along their details, and I would love to add them to this resource. And if you have any feedback with any of the vendors that I've listed, feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to take that into account. Each card is supposed to be stylized. I mean, some of them work better than others. Now that I'm just looking at them, I probably should change the hues on some of these colors. But if you look at the different retailers, you'll notice the color at the top of each card that they're on, and those colors correspond to what type of store there are. So purple generally corresponds to like a Whatnot host, orange corresponds to like an online retailer, blue is supposed to correspond to local game stores, so on and so forth. So that also is filterable. So you can filter by tag. So things like, does this company sell only sealed product, or do they also sell singles? I have filtered by region. Right now we only have stores in the United States, so the USA is the only region type. And then we have a type filter. So things like if you want to just view eBay stores, local game stores, online retailers, or Whatnot hosts, you can filter by that as well. So what we're trying to build here is the ultimate platform for any caster who's interested in purchasing or learning more about MetaZoo to thrive. And hopefully we hit that nail on the head here. One last thing about this retailer view, some retailer links on this page may be affiliate links. So if you make a purchase through them, MetaZoo News may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. All proceeds go towards covering our monthly server and hosting costs, which you can find more info about in our About Us page. That's a good segue. So I would like to discuss briefly how you can help keep MetaZoo News online. Full transparency, I am a public school teacher. I do not make very much money. Just throwing that out there. So the server costs for this are not, small. They're not insignificant, especially for me and my income level. So my monthly cost on average is about $50 a month on average. And that covers hosting costs through EasyWP. We use their supersonic server. It also covers costs for plugins that we pay to use here on MetaZooNews.com to help keep the website running. It also covers one of the biggest costs is our CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network. It effectively, if you're not familiar with like web development, a CDN will take the images, data on your site, and just not to dumb it down, that's not a great phrase, but to simplify it rather, it takes the data and delivers it in a much faster way so that you're not stuck loading the images on the front page of MetaZoo News for 5 to 10 seconds. It speeds up the website immensely, and I can't even begin to say how fast it makes the website compared to not having a CDN. And those costs are not insubstantial too. I mean, all of it adds up, and altogether, it's about $50. I mean, what I generally pay is $51.37. And you may notice that there are no ads on MetaZooNews.com, and I intend to keep it that way. I don't want ads to clutter up the website and make it look like a minefield you are trying to navigate, just to click on an actual story and not an ad. So I don't plan to run ads, and what I'm about to say is completely optional, and I do not expect anyone to donate. But we do have a page on the About tab underneath About Us. It's entitled Monthly Server Fund Donation. And if you so choose, no worries at all if you do not want to or have the means to. But if you so choose, you can donate on the page to help keep MetaZooNews.com online. And, I, of course, will pay the fees as long as I possibly can. Money is really tight. So as it is with everyone, right? I mean, in this economy specifically. So if you have an extra $1 to spare, consider donating online to MetaZooNews.com to help keep our server costs. And we have a ticker that shows exactly how much we've raised thus far, and the campaign resets every month. So if you want to help us out, I would be infinitely grateful for any contribution you might have. Anyway, the next resource here is our updated community pages, and specifically our featured YouTube content creator page. Right now, again, all of this is also custom coded. I have a good amount, I think 10, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 11 currently, 11 YouTubers featured. And if you have a YouTube channel that you would like featured on our community tab, send me a DM on Instagram and I will add it ASAP. Right now, though, you can see I've embedded a video from each of these channels, and the channels are MetaZoo News, shout out to me, Zealous TCG, Bunnyman Productions, Trementic, MetaZoo Maniac, TMX Comics, MetaZoo Menace, DPD19, Crispy 1992, Jackalope Club, and Layered Worlds. Those are the current YouTubers that I have on the website. So if that describes you, if you are a YouTuber and would like to be featured, just let me know and we'll make it happen. And we also have our cryptid art, our featured community artist tab with legends such as Tatfink, Lucas Dimension, Anexus, Cardboards and Brews, Jonah Fatoni, the artist Rao, It's Sir Frogman, and many more. Beautiful, amazing artwork is featured there. And if you are an artist and want your artwork featured, just let me know and we'll make it happen, as always. But that about rounds up our new content for MetaZooNews.com. I'm looking at this now and I see we're at 26 minutes and 57 seconds. So anyway, I have clearly failed in my bid to make this a short episode, but I hope all the same that you enjoyed listening. So anyway, no community roundup this week. I may make a addendum episode later on that features a community roundup, but for now, that's all we have for today's episode number 6 of MetaZoo News, the podcast. Sayonara.